thinking of playing. Stones River 1862 by Victus. It's like 2015 published. Came out in Victus magazine. Part of a Secession series. It is area with brigade scale units. Still aglow from the holiday celebrations, Bragg was shocked on Christmas Day when he received reports of federal troops moving on Murfreesboro. They were coming down many roads in large but unknown numbers, in terrain, terrible weather of sleet and rain. Given his braggadocio with Davis, Bragg had to fight. The terrain at Murfreesboro was unsuited for defensive purposes, and the Stones River sliced through the center of his lines, separating the two corps. Bragg decided that he would attack Rosecrans preemptively. By coincidence, each general planned to attack with a powerful left wing, reducing the strength of the right wing in proportion. Bragg was the first to strike, at daylight on the 31st, his left under Hardee against the Federal right under McCook. Bragg had contrived the usual Confederate plan of attack by divisions and echelon. As always, the plan was incapable of execution. Nonetheless, Hardee's assault crushed the right-wing Federal division under Richard W. Johnson. The Confederate Cavalry Brigade under Brigadier General John A. Wharton compounded the catastrophe by slamming into the rear of the Federal infantry and bagging 1,500 prisoners. Looking beyond his immediate front, Wharton saw an immense wagon train stretched along the Nashville Pike, guarded by Federal cavalry and infantry. There was his prize. His 2,000 horsemen, he later wrote, were hurled on the foe. The ground was exceedingly favorable for cavalry operations, and after a short hand-to-hand conflict in which the revolver was used with deadly effect, the enemy fled from the field in the wildest confusion and dismay, and were pursued to Overall's Creek, where the enemy reformed out of range of our guns. Okay, so I'm trying to remember, but I'm pretty sure after the Confederate action segment, with that attack in the center, I think the die roll was made -2 for the two maneuver tactical options, and a 1 or a 2, a modified 1 or 2 is needed to go on to a fifth action phase. So we did not get that. So what we're going to do, well, actually, let's talk about the administrative phase now, because the action phases are over. I just did the continuation phase, which, let me read one more time. I don't know if I ever went over this clearly, but the continuation phase, after 3 action phases have taken place, one of the players rolls a die. For a result of 1 to 4, a 4th action phase occurs. Otherwise, move on to the administrative phase. At the end of a 4th action phase, roll the die again for 1 or 2. A 5th and final action phase takes place before moving on to the administrative phase. So we had a 4th action phase, but we did not roll a modified 1 or 2 for a 5th action phase. Okay. And modifiers may be indicated in the scenario rules, which is in our case -1 for each side, cumulative -2 because at the start of the battle we rolled on that table for tactical option, and both sides both sides were both sides had a maneuver option, tactical option. Okay. Administrative phase. The administrative phase is carried out jointly between the two players in the following order. A, the brigades in route. We don't have any in route, but that would be brigades in route. Brigades in route carry out an additional route movement of 3 zones, respecting the rules of retreat. All right. B, remove the fatigue 1 markers. Yep, we have a fatigue 1 marker, so we remove the fatigue 1 marker, or turn the fatigue 2, so on the flip side, so fatigue 1 on the flip side is fatigue 2, so or turn the fatigue 2 markers to their fatigue 1 side for the brigades that are not in contact with enemy brigades. So no, that stays on, right? Because they are in contact. For the brigades that are not in contact with enemy brigades. The activated army commanders, are turned to their available side, and then the activated CC with, okay, neither of the army commanders here and here were ever activated. But let's just say, for example, let's just say Bragg had been activated. We would first flip him over to his available side, and then activated CC within command range of their army commander are turned to their available side. Now, I need to check real quickly whether that's any different than the normal 9.1. The command range of an army commander or corps commander's 8 MP movement points. Okay. So that is that. So we do, both sides have activated corps commanders, right? So here's poke. So we go movement points: 1 for the bridge, 2 for the road, 2, 3, 4. So that's easily within range. So I flip poke over, and then Hardy. Yeah, Hardy's right here. So within commanders are turned to their available side. Okay. So Hardy, and then over here, Crittenden is easily within range of Rosecrans. So there are some pretty obvious, clear and obvious rules mechanics that encourage you to focus your action on commanders and formations that are within chain of command, and pretty obvious limitations for acting with formations that are not within the general chain of command, general command and control network. Okay. So that's good. Test the brigades en route by rolling a die for each one. So there's a route test. It has its simple table there. 1 to 3, the brigade remains en route. 4 or 5, the brigade becomes organized. 6, the brigade becomes organized and recovers a loss. That's interesting. So basically, like, straggler recovery is wrapped right into that. Looks like it's wrapped into that mechanic right there, at least. All right. I'm sorry. There's a last step. E. Test the arrival of reinforcements. The scenario indicates during which turn T certain reinforcements may begin to enter the game. Let me check on the scenario. Okay, so basically there's variable reinforcement arrival, which I like. So on this first turn, the scenario rules do show that McCook and his forces may arrive. We roll on this first turn, they would arrive on a 1 or 2. During turn T of the reinforcements, for a score of 1 to 2, the brigade or the division enters, otherwise it is delayed. Okay, but it says a commander always enters on the indicated turn. Okay. D, and they enter at reinforcement D, and that's right in the center. This road that heads off to the edge of the map there. So I'm going to grab, I guess, McCook. He's the leader. He comes in. 1, 2, 3. I guess he'll go here. There's some, okay. And then there's a higher percentage chance next turn. Okay. All right, there are 2 more steps. So the action marker is returned to the first step. Move on to the next round, advancing the turn marker, turn 2. Or if the game is over, calculate the VP to determine the victor. Okay, so turn 2 initiative. The Union side rolls a 4. The Confederate side rolls a 2. So the Union will have the first, has the initiative. They'll have the first action segment here of the action phase as player 1. All right. Okay, I'm going to do, oh, wait, I got to roll for, no, I select the cork. I'm selecting Thomas. He has a +1 activation modifier there. Yep, so he rolls a 5, +1 is 6. Oh, +1 for the Union side per scenario, so it's really 7, so it's 3, the maximum number of divisions to activate, but he only has this one orange division on the board. Yeah, I definitely need to do up my own order of battle. I only see, what is the orange? Orange under Thomas is USA. They call that, okay, they call that yellow. Looked orange from here. Okay, that is Negley. Okay. Yeah, so easily gets that. Easily activates everybody. That division. These brigades are within 2 of each other. No isolated brigade. Here's the thing. Should they move? Should they move? When do they face? So I want to review this change in facing because these are a little unusual. Not unique, but not typical. At the end of its movement, a brigade positions itself facing a zone of its choice. That's obvious. A corps commander and army commander has no facing. At this scale, that's perfectly understandable. However, and that's what the rule says, however, when an active brigade comes into contact with enemy brigades, it must orient itself so that the enemy brigades are as much as possible at its front. Remember, front is the, so I'll use Miller as an example here. He's facing area 81, and so the 2 areas adjacent to 81 are its front, including 81. So 81 and the 2 adjacent. So this area, 81, and this area are all Miller's front. The remaining areas are flank. Moreover, the inactive brigades that are not already in contact with brigades of the active player must or can, that's interesting, must or can change facing in order to have the active brigade that just moved at their fronts. Well, I'm not going to create an example here, but note that that's inactive brigades that are not already in contact with brigades of the active player. Okay, finally, reducing one's fatigue, remaining in place, declaring an attack without moving, retreating or advancing after combat also allow one to change facing, provided one keeps the most enemy brigades at the front. So that's interesting. Yeah, I'm looking at all sorts of examples on the board. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so back to Thomas. Okay, they're just going to, so how do I do that? I guess I declare an attack and attack, but yeah, so this is, okay. Activated brigades must attack if they spend 2 MP to activate and if they have an attack marker placed on them. The attacker chooses the order. Oh, by the way, I think I should roll for the weather changing. All right, I rolled a 3, and so weather does not change. I forgot, in looking at that, I remember last turn, I forgot the -1 for all attacks, just for weather. So that attack that resulted in that unit getting that fatigue 1, now that I think about it, it would not have changed the result. I believe that it would have still been a fatigue. Yeah, still would have been a fatigue result. Okay, but I need to remember that -1 for all attacks. The wording is until the weather improves, attacks have a penalty of -1. Okay. All right, so let's do combat here. So we have a combat there. Let's calculate modifier strength ratio. Okay. All right, so 6, and probably move Thomas completely out of the way. So that's 6 and 6 is 12. 12 to, now is this 7 -1 for the fatigue? Let me see. Fatigue. I think it is, but add up the attacker's strength potential and divided by the sum of the defender's strength ratio around the defender's favor. Where's fatigue come in then? Fatigue. Huh. Alright, so fatigue is just a DRM. Oh, right, I'm thinking of losses. Okay. So it's 12 to 7, which in the defender's favor is 1 to 1. So no modifier for strength ratio. Now let's do the artillery support. They have 5. So Union have 5. That's 3 and 2. So that means 5 or less means that they get 1. They get 1 for the artillery. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do the rebels there have a 2. They roll a 5, so they do not get it. All right, so +1 for the Okay. Now I see a reason to have extra dice on hand. Command bonus. That's funny. No command bonuses. So no gold stars on either side. Okay. Fatigue. Yes. So it's minus. It's minus. Yeah, -1 for the defender. So +1 for Union, -1 for the Confederates. Terrain is. Oh, that's interesting. No, that's terrain is for the defender. Defender's in the clear there. Tactical situation. Okay, +1 for the attacker per zone that attacks in addition to the first zone. Obviously, we have a second zone here. So now they're up to +2. But -2 for the attacker per zone adjacent to the zones that attack where the front of an enemy brigade unattacked during this combat phase is located. So basically these enemy impose a -2 on Stanley. So actually that evens out the bonuses the Union had. And then -1 per defender zone that attacks. -1 for the defense per zone that attacks it at his flank. No, these are in the front. These are in the Confederate front. Okay, so we're -1 for the. Is it -1? Yeah, -1 for the fatigue. Okay. We don't have any cavalry involved. All right, so the Confederates roll a 4, -1 to roll a 5, -1 to 4, and then the Union have an even, and they get a 3. So it is. So the Confederates win, and it's a 1 fatigue for the Union. Now, is it 1 fatigue for all of them? Okay, very clearly says all engaged brigades suffer the result. So, take away these attack markers. They all get a fatigue 1. Oh, I'm flipping Thomas anyways, because he activated. And a fatigue 1. For Miller. And I think that's it.